The National Insurance Clearinghouse, the marketing arm of Brokers Alliance, presents a Bravo special video event. March Madness, the Final Four Insurance Product in Review. Broadcasting live from the All-American Sports Grill in Fountain Hills, Arizona, and sponsored by Legal and General America. And now, insurance columnist and talk show host, Steve Savant.
Well, welcome everyone to our annual March Madness tribute, the Final Four Insurance Product Review. We're broadcasting live out of Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain, right at the All-American Sports Grill, one of my favorite places to lunch. And with me today, the princess of premium herself, the gal of the grids, Jessica Lopez. Hey, Jessie.
Hey there. Thanks for that introduction. You're phenomenal, Mr. Savant.
Well, I have to say, we have a pile we're going to be giving away on our landing page, the patented 2012 Term Insurance Report. This is our annual report. It's a take no prisoners review. We do a whole expose. It's all about commodities on a grid, I have to say. And the spreadsheets are to die for. And our sponsor for the report is the famous Ebix company, the people that do Vital Term. So you're going to really enjoy this report like I did. Let's get into it, Jessie. We have so much. Before, I want to set the ground rules.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I don't want anybody complaining I didn't put any banks in here. And the reason I didn't put any banks in because the channels sometimes are closed and we don't all have access to the products. And actually, only one bank really made the cut anyways. That was going to be decent. The second one is anybody that has a closed-in brokerage channel that doesn't give distribution to independents also didn't make my grid. Now, there'll be a little howling about that, I'm sure, but I'm trying to do what I can do for all our producers to have access to 95 to 98% of the market.
Absolutely.
Number three, carriers who really did win and rule the spreadsheets and grids, but they don't underwrite. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. When I'm looking at the number 1 and 2 positions in every area, whether it's super preferred, preferred plus, preferred, standard plus, or standard, I really love the numbers. They fall on the grids at the top position, but I can never get super preferred. If I can't get super preferred, how worth it is the grid? Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's not. So those guys I had to toss because time and again they've proven not only in our broker channel, but all the major independent marketing organizations that these guys cannot underwrite at the high preferred levels. They're only advertising, they're not actually placing these cases. So sorry about that, but that's the way it is. Well, Jessie, let's get into it. We're going to talk a little about and touch on the term section, and let's start, male 45?
45. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and concentrate on the age of 45, female, male right now. Again, with our term insurance report, you're going to have access to multiple ages. And of course, you can contact us here at Brokers Alliance to speak to your life marketer in order to get details on any clients that you're working with. We're going to go ahead and take a look at female. First of all, Steve, age 45. We'll start with the ladies. And looking at our 10-year term, Banner and ING are at the top. They kill it. We're looking at Banner Life, 10-year term, $525. ING, $528.
This is on $1 million, right?
This is on $1 million, and this is female. This is at super preferred non-smoker.
But by the way, a little side note, have you noticed that the female 10-year rates at age 25 super preferred, the policy fee is greater than the annual premium? I mean, how ridiculous is that? And remember, a lot of our carriers don't even pay compensation on the policy fee. So, man, I mean, we need to start bumping the minimum maybe from 100 to 250 just to make the annual premium greater than the policy fee. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Looking at a 15-year term, American General basically takes the top, $674. Again, this is all at $1 million, age 45 for females. And then we have, of course, Banner Life shows up again, $675. Looking at a 20-year term, Banner again at the top. They are just rocking the house here.
And by the way, a little side note, our sponsor, LGA, that's the new name for Banner and William Penn in the United States. So their parent company actually gave them their moniker now in the U.S., LGA, or Legal and General America. So when you see Banner, it's really LGA, and I think probably by the end of the year, that may all transfer to LGA.
I think it's all going to convert over. Absolutely, absolutely. Now looking at a 20-year term, we have Protective now at the top. Some of you may know them as West Coast Life.
I'm shocked, actually. Honestly, they weren't players, but all of a sudden their reconfiguration on their term, these guys are major players, and I got to say, major comp.
And phenomenal service.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic service. Their annual premium comes out at $914, and we're looking at AXA, who comes up next, just $1 off, $915. So as you can see, we've done our homework here. We just want to give you the best of the best.
We're mercenaries. We don't care who wins. We have access to almost everybody that really matters in the United States. And I just want to point out, surprise there, wow, a big behemoth like AXA playing deep in the term area. That's huge.
Now, looking at a 30-year term, we have, guess who is on top again, Steve? Take a wild stab at it.
I would say LGA.
Yeah, there you go. They're on top, looking at $1,455, again, $4 million, 45 female. Now, after them, Genworth, phenomenal company. They have a great product, and also their policy fee is commissionable. So just a little side note there, and they're actually at the same premium as Banner in this situation.
That's a great point out, because a lot of people say, hey, look, not only is Genworth one of the top players on the grids, but they actually play on the policy fee.
Absolutely.
Okay, carry on.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the gentleman. $1 million again, male, age 45, 10-year term, Banner on top, LGA. $585, then we get into principal at $605. Going to the 15-year term, we have a Banner again at the top, $875, and American General, who comes up close at $884. American General has really stepped up as well. Their service is phenomenal. Just want to throw that out there. They also have easy access. All of these carriers, easy access on our website. Most of them do have iGo applications that are available, easy digital process. And so you know too, we're also having a raffle currently at Brokers Alliance. Anytime you submit an iGo application, your name goes into the bucket and you have the potential to win $500. So sorry, Steve, just wanted to throw that in there really quick.
I thank you for that iGo commercial. I hope they're going to pay us for that.
Absolutely.
And by the way, a little side note, AG, as you mentioned, AG not only is a player in our service area and they're showing up on the grids, but they pay.
Right.
So they're another compensation carrier that we really appreciate.
Great point. Looking at the 20-year term, Banner Life, again on top at $1,155, and then principal coming in just $10 more. Looking at the 30-year term, we're looking at Banner Life at $1,885, and then we have Genworth, who is $1,890. So neck and neck, and they are both phenomenal carriers.
Wow, when I think about this, we're talking 30-year term, and there's not that many players in 40-year, but think about it. We're already out on 40-year level term. I've lived to see the day. My 30-year career, we went from, 20 was a stretch.
Right.
Now we're double that in the year 2012.
All right, fantastic. Now we're going to go ahead and skip into the non-cigarette smoker land. And what that means basically is we're looking at rate classes that are available to those who may chew tobacco, occasional cigar smokers,
snuff,
some snuff,
chew.
That kind of stuff.
I mean, I'm in a sports bar too, okay.
So we thought that that's important because there are definitely carriers out there that do stand apart, stand aside from everybody else. And I just have to say Prudential and John Hancock really are at the top in a majority of the options that we're looking at here.
And we also have some options. It's not going to be on the show today, but if you want to call Brokers Alliance, and we'll give you the ones that are on marijuana now, medical marijuana.
Right.
I mean, now we're saying, wow, the doobies have made it into the grid.
Exactly.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And even though we're in term conversation right now, I just wanted to point out too that John Hancock also has an incentive to quit smoking plan on their permanent product line. So if you have a plan to quit smoking over the next 3 years, we can illustrate that at non-smoker rates. And then, as long as you really stop smoking, then you'll continue with those non-smoker rates
36 months from now, you're going to get a coatine exam on your urine analysis, and I hope you've taken the opportunity to go 36 months and become a non-smoker.
Exactly. I have a choice. Do you either want to go ahead and pay higher premiums or give up the cigarettes? You make the call.
I want to pay less.
Yeah, there you go. So getting back into term, 10-year term, we have Prudential at the top at $1,245 annual premium. John Hancock is $1,310. Jumping into the 15-year, we have John Hancock now on top, which is at $1,450.
Shocker.
And then Prudential, just $25 more a year for that. 20-year term, Prudential on top at $1,775. They are extremely competitive in this scenario. John Hancock is at $2,020. Now, jumping in, I'm going to skip to the 30-year term, Prudential on top, $2,535, and then Transamerica does show up as second best, but quite significantly higher. So we're looking at $5,540.
Remember, this is all in our term report. We can't go through this whole thing because time constraints are just so much, and I want to head into a little bit of GUL land. But this report, you can hop out www.brokersalliance.com/March Madness. Go ahead and just register the report. It's absolutely free. It's 73 something pages, but I thought you'd want to know. We've tried to do a complete, across the board, every health category that is non-rated, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. Jesse, talk to me a little bit about, because some people call GUL permanent term. Okay, I mean, because there's really, most of them don't have cash value.
Right.
There's going to be some exceptions that I'll point them out, but give us some numbers on our GUL grid.
For GUL, we're looking at Genworth at the top. Again, we're looking at comparisons, $1 million. We're looking at age 45, and right now I'm giving you an example for male. And for that premium, we're looking at $5,653. Prudential and John Hancock come in after that. American General, they're all really neck and neck when we're looking at that option.
And just remember, most GUL contracts do not have any kind of endowment cash value, but there's a couple exceptions to this rule, and heads up, LGA Banner is one of them, and American General are another. So if you're going to have to sell GUL, you may look at that, because even though the cash endowments to age 120, half of that's about age 100, and quarter of that cash is still at your actual life expectancy. So it's worth looking at some of these, just because even though they're GUL, they have cash.
Right. There's some additional benefit there in a lot of situations.
You know, I'm looking at, a lot of people are trying to do, because there's no money in money markets today, people are looking at single deposit GUL.
Right.
Who are the players in that? Because I'm just kind of curious. I kind of know, but I want people to understand this is where you should put your money, because we're not making any interest on the banks right now, so this is the way to go.
Right, absolutely. Looking at female, we're looking at age 65. You know, that's usually when we're kind of looking at that scenario. And $1 million, we're looking at Aviva. We're also looking at North American. And North American has also been a phenomenal carrier for us. As far as service, compensation, you name it, they're right up there. Looking at males, what we're seeing here, North American on top, Aviva, Protective Life, Prudential, all options that we want to take a look at for you.
Now, what about second to die, or I'm sorry, we just did single GUL. What about second to die single? Because this is also becoming an issue. Remember, the unified credit's still at $5 million apiece.
Right.
This could be a great time to really leverage single premium second to die, because the leverage on 2 lives is just huge.
Absolutely. Taking a look at your survivorship options here, again, looking at birthday, age $55 million, and at, it looks like principal comes up top. When we're looking at single premium, maximizing that death benefit for the amount of money that they're putting into it. Prudential, Aviva, United of Omaha, MetLife.
Wow, United of Omaha, that surprises me.
Absolutely.
Wow. Way to go. Way to go, Wild Kingdom. And what about, you know, we're always wanting to touch a little bit on par whole life. Who's the indemnification players, the death benefit players?
Looking at that, we're looking at our top 5 here. Number 1 is going to be Met. They stand out, and again, we're looking at $250,000, and this is for male non-smoker example. After them, we're looking at Nationwide, New York Life, and Assurity, all of which are available here at Brokers Alliance.
By the way, just a heads up, normally I wouldn't bring this up, but when we're talking about income scenarios, and everybody, the dominant market is still going indexing, a little bit in VUL, but most of it's indexing, I've noticed that because of the dividend raise, the actual increase in dividends, Mass Mutual now has become, it's kind of an inserted player.
Right.
Par Whole Life is starting to become something to look at the lower indexed UL proposals. And just keep in mind, Mass Mutual's numbers here are really very, very competitive. So I'm really looking to see how to really measure that up with Par Whole Life, current assumption UL, which is both of those are interest rate driven, against indexing. And sometime in September, we'll do kind of a VUL. We're not going to do any FINRA today on VUL. But let's talk about that, because those income scenarios are going to be huge. And we're looking at some of the top players. It still is Allianz, Nicola, Life of the Southwest. I mean, there's some very big players. Lincoln Financial, all in the indexed income scenarios. These are all things that you can order for us, because we really want to try to keep you up to date on the grids. We try to at least change it out every quarter. Sometimes we have to change it out every month. But I want you to be aware of that. And remember, you can get the entire term report. Just go out to our website, www.brokersalliance.com/March Madness. Now, you know, we're going to have to close our segment up here, because we got to touch on so much today. Jesse, when I look at some of the second to die,
right,
because that is a play for annual premium, who are my players in that?
Looking at second to die, and we're looking at, we did cover single premium. If we're looking at annual premium here, we're looking at MetLife, Aviva, Prudential, Principal and Lincoln. Lincoln has been a phenomenal player as well for underwriting. I just wanted to point that out there. We've had some deals that didn't look like they had any hope of getting approved anywhere, and they were able to close that deal for us.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone, it's really critical. A lot of people win the grids on the numbers, but who can underwrite? And right now, Lincoln's been a very big player in substandard and regular underwriting. So we definitely want to be able to pay attention to that. Those are the kind of things we're talking about. This has all been our March Madness tribute to the life section. Again, you can go out to report and order at www.brokersalliance.com/March Madness. Hey, you're watching the Final Four Insurance Product Review, our annual tribute to March Madness, sponsored by Legal & General America, your company for life. You can download the 2012 Term Insurance Product Report at www.brokersalliance.com/March Madness.
You've been watching the Final Four Insurance Product in Review, sponsored by Legal & General America, Banner, William Penn, your company for life. This has been a Bravo special video event from the media division of the National Insurance Clearinghouse, the marketing arm of Brokers Alliance. Download the 2012 Term Life Insurance Report at www.brokersalliance.com/March Madness.